What's going on here then?
What's in the box?
I think I love retro games.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
I think I love retro games.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
I think I love retro games. Hello, yes, it is me. It is Jace at Retrogames. Hello. Welcome to the show. Another episode of What's in the Box. I'm not stopping making it. We're going to carry on trying to find out what's in these darn boxes. This box seems to have no bottom. Unlike me, there's no bottom to this box. How you been? Been a good week? It's been hot, hasn't it? I'm thinking the camera might say, too hot, I'm going to have to turn itself off. It does that sometimes. Yes, it has been a hot week in the UK. I know for all our overseas viewers. Can you believe it? We do have hot weather in the UK. It doesn't rain all the time, just most of the time. I know. Just get on with it, Jason. Don't start talking about VR again. You upset us last week. Stop talking about VR. Yes, it shows in the figures, doesn't it? It shows in the figures when you don't like what you're seeing. And me talking about Apple, it didn't go down well. That's fine. That's fine. I won't bother talking about anything that I find interesting ever again. The problem is I find everything interesting. I couldn't do it to myself, could I? I couldn't stop myself from going on about old stuff. Let's get on with it. Let's start with the stock. If for newcomers to, I've a little bit of a spiel. Newcomers to the show, what this show is about is showing the latest additions to the www.retrogames.co.uk website. What's coming this week, what's worth grabbing, and some of you guys who watch the show, you realise that this is a sneak peek, and sometimes you get to see stuff and then you can grab it as soon as it comes on sale, or it's already there but it brings it to your attention, you know, and you just snap it up before anyone else gets a chance, and there's something satisfying in that. Okay, now we've been doing hardware sorting again. There's been hardware bits, but I have got some games in the box this week. Yeah! Yes, we have got some games again this week, but let's start with some hardware, and the first one up is this machine here in a big cardboard box. What can be in a box this wide? You're thinking, yeah, that's a wide box. Well, there's only one favourite format that needs such a wide box, and that is the Amiga 1200. Yes, the Amiga 1200. I don't think I've had an Amiga 1200 on the show yet. I think that box is huge. Let's move the box. I can dig that later. What is an Amiga 1200? That's the kind of hard-hitting questions we're going to face up to on the Retro Games What's in the Box show. What is an Amiga 1200? Well, Commodore were confused. They were confused. They had a very big hit with the Commodore Amiga 500, and they just wanted to keep screwing it up, trying to compete with PCs probably at this point. They're trying to compete with the PC. They're trying to make it more powerful. There's all these 32-bit consoles. It whispers in the wind of 32-bit stuff coming. So they wanted to make a 32-bit Amiga, and you think, yes, that would have been amazing. A 32-bit Amiga, yeah, it's amazing, but very little 1200 specific content. Enhanced versions of games that we already had for years. It's that old adage, isn't it? No killer app. You needed a specific 1200 only amazing game to persuade everyone to upgrade, and we'd already been burnt. We'd already been burnt by the 500 plus and the 600. All those computers did, the 500 plus and the 600. They changed the BIOS. They made quite a lot of games incompatible with the machine. That's all they did. That's all they did. The 600, yeah, sure, you could have a built-in hard drive. Great fun with the old, you know, dumping stuff onto a hard drive, no booting off of a disk, brilliant. But the same computer and a lot of games not compatible. Lots of reissues making games 600 compatible. The same happened with the Atari ST. It wasn't only a mistake that Commodore made. You got the Atari ST FM, then they upgrade with the STE, and the STE was all it brought to the party was incompatibility. Well, the 1200 carried on like that. It was a bit of a shame. Now this version, as you can see, this version has a hard drive installed. It says it has an 85 megabyte Seagate hard drive. It is a lovely looking machine. It's like a stretched out, not as fat and squodgy, but it's nice and wide. It looks like a nice computer. It's heavy. It is a heavy machine. There's a lot going on. You've got the disc slot on the side. You've got loads of options on the back. You've got no need for the TV modulator, no need for that big thing that sticks out the back of a 500 to plug into your TV. It's got RF out, bespoke. It's got stereo out. It's got an AV video out, so you can still use it on modern TVs, thank God. You've got this awkward power supply, very specific. And then you've got the ports. You've got the parallel port, serial port, disk drive port for the second disk drive. And then you've got a mouse port and joystick port. Now, what about the other side? There is this strange slot for expansion cards. A few things came out for it, but most expansions go in the trapdoor underneath, just like on the 500. Yes, now you're thinking, why didn't they make a console version of the Amiga 1200 then, if they got 32-bit Amiga? They did! That's the CD32, you know. CD32 is the little brother to the 1200, but the same games, they're just on a disc. There is CD drives as well for the 1200. You could get a lot of games. You could play CD32 games on the 1200. But again, the problem with this computer, as lovely as it is there wasn't any specific amazing 1200 games to really make you drool for one. And we'd moved on, wouldn't we? You can feel the PlayStation's on the way, and sadly, this wasn't enough to keep Commodore in the game, and the CD32 certainly wasn't. But anyway, it's a very nice example, fully tested, fully working. It's got a mouse, got its power supply, it's got manuals. It's even got this unusual SCART stereo cable, very helpful. So you can play with a SCART connector as well. Yeah, but it's a great example of the Amiga 1200. And that's in stock this week, yes! Oh, one more computer before we get to the box. I know, back in a sec. Okay, now it's another big mega beast. You're thinking, oh, I recognise that poly. I recognise the poly. What is it? What's it? This is exciting, isn't it? What's in it? Should we open it on the top camera? Let's have a look. Whoop. It's a BBC Model B. I don't remember if we've had a Beeb on the show. I think we probably have. But we had another one in this week. Classic computer that we all grew up with at school. All our schools were full of the BBC Model B, and it's still got a cult following. There's a lot of hobbyist stuff for it, and it's ridiculous how huge the Beeb is. I mean, it is a monster, isn't it? Is that a monster computer? It weighs a ton. Let's get it just up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, little things like these bits that are cut out for extra keys that you could have on separate boards. There's lots of hobbyist stuff. Even this little strip here, you can see there's an Elite. That's an Elite key guide that's been left in it. We've left that in. It's authentic. We've got an analog in. I've always wondered what analog in, but I think that's for like expansions. You've got an RS432. You've heard of 232. No, this is a 4-bit version. This is a 432. You've got an RGB out. Yeah, that's proper RGB out for your TV through. Very good quality. It's got UHF out, which is RF out, and it's got video out, and there's a very strange port that it's like an American style RF with a mid central pin, which is strange. And it's got a cassette port, and it's got that brilliant Acorn Computers Limited, Cambridge, England, 1981. Yes, an English computer. We come back to that Micromen show if you want to watch that about the history of Acorn and Sinclair. That Micromen, that was a great show. Anyway, we got a BBC in this week, and it works! Yeah! It does work. Now, the BBC Model B is prone to capacitor burnout. Yeah, they have to be recapped. And you're seeing more and more. If you're a retro collector, you're seeing that term recapped more and more and more. And this is another victim of the exploding capacitor. They do need to be changed. This is working. It has got the original capacitors in, but there was a slight tinnitus-y whistle from inside the machine. So we didn't test it for long. We tested the keys, we tested the TV output. It is working, but I think it's due a recap, and we didn't leave it in for long, because if you leave them on too long and they need recapping, they suddenly start pouring smoke out. We've had that happen too many times now, too many times. In fact, I would say in the office, the BBC Model B is the computer we're most scared of. With good reason. Oh, not a BBC. Yeah. We actually blew up an Xbox this week. Yeah. I'm picking you out. If you're watching this, colleague, You know what you did. You plugged in a UK power supply in a USA Xbox, and it went bang. It went bang big style. Yeah, very annoying mistake. But anyway, we're trying to move on. It is a shame, isn't it? A shame. When it happens sometimes with Dreamcast as well. You know, if you plug in, because they look the same, if you plug in a UK power supply into a Japanese or an American Dreamcast or an Xbox, bang! It's lots of fun. It doesn't go bang if you do it on a PS2. I don't know why. PS2 just doesn't work ever again. I know what you're thinking. Come on, Jace, that time in the show. What's in the box? Yeah, what's in the box? Yeah, I've got the box. And let's start with Atari ST. Atari ST, yeah, so we've had a lot of ST on the show. This is Battletech. This is an Infocom adventure. Battletech, and it looks like a sort of Japanese, you know, mech game. And it is, it's a Japanese inspired mech game. Let's put it on the screen. Here we go. And then we've got the 2 discs. Battletech, the Crescent Hawks Inception. I mean, these Infocom games, they love their strategy and adventure. Let's have a look. We've got lots of contents here. So we've got the it's a Ubisoft. You see, Ubisoft. This is an early Ubisoft branded item. We've got this. What is this? Is this a brochure? Is it Infocom's new graphics will blow you out of the water? Oh, what? It's a brochure for Infocom. Now this is lovely. Look. Zork Zero, that's a very rare game. I don't think we've ever had it on ST. I think we've had it on PC. Shogun. That came out for several formats, didn't it? But I don't think the Shogun you'll know from the Spectrum of the Commodore 64 is that game. I don't know. That's not an Infocom. I need to look that up. Journey. What is that? Journey. I don't know that game. Journey. What's this? So that's Battletech, which we're looking at. Turn it over. We've got some more stuff on the back. Quarterstaff. I want to find Quarterstaff. It's an RPG. Yeah, that term RPG is being used in the early 80s. RPG has been with us for a long time, well before Japanese games. Well, not before Japanese RPG. Japanese RPGs are very early too. I guess RPG, role-playing game, the initials aren't right for Japanese, because Japanese don't have initials like that, so maybe they call them something else. That sounds like RPG. Past the ghoulish crypt, beyond the elfin caverns, through the Fublio Valley and into the 31st century. Introducing 5 spectacular new games from Infocom. Zork Quest, yeah, brilliant, yeah, really nice. Anyway, a really nice official brochure in there, which is nice. And then we've got the weapon and mech recognition guide. It's got nice graphics, nicely drawn out, good quality. Infocom adventure stuff, it is good quality. You'll all know, they go on from this to have loads of freebies like you have in the Hitchhiker's Guide and stuff like that. But even at the beginning, they were still piling up. There's the proper manual. They were still piling tons of stuff in the box. Loads of stuff to lose, but thankfully not in this case. And then we've got the reference card, that's like the quick start and the booting info. Yeah, that's pretty dull. It's a bit dull and dry, but I skipped past the best thing, didn't I? Not the discs. The discs are pretty important. But no, this. Yes, it's a fold-out poster. You betcha. Yes, what about that? An original. Was this game 1984, 5, 6? I don't know. I'm making it up. But yeah, anyway, yeah, an official Battletech poster in there. That is lovely. That has never been on the wall. There is no blue tack residue. No blue tack residue. When is this game? 1988. Original Infocom adventure game. That's our Atari ST entry for the week. What's next in the box? Okay, well, we have got some, and we haven't had any of this on, and I know you guys keep going on about it. We've got some Intellivision stuff. Yes, finally. Finally, someone wanted, was it Justin? Someone wanted us to get more Intellivision on the show. We had something this week, not particularly rare titles, but in lovely condition. This is Basketball. Let's check out what basketball, think about your current NBAs and what they look like, all them EA games. And then just think how we started with basketball games. Check this out. Yeah, pretty lumpy, but it's still pretty cool, isn't it? I love it. I love it. And there you got the two keyboard overlays. You get the overlays and got these groovy. If you don't know about Intellivision, they are rival to the Atari VCS, made by Mattel. Did all right. It did all right. It's got a bit of a legacy, but no killer app really. No real killer app. They didn't have Space Invaders. They didn't have Pac-Man. They had, you know, they had Pretenders. They had Donkey Kong, but it wasn't really an initial game for the Intellivision. So yeah, they struggled a bit. They struggled a bit compared to Atari. Let's carry on. I love tennis games. Tennis probably goes back to the roots of classic video gaming like Pong. Tennis games have always been there, haven't they? They've always been there. Whatever machine you've got, there's always a tennis game, and this one again. Beautiful condition, 2 overlays, slide them in. You've got some special commands that you can use on the touchpad. Let's check out tennis in 1979. I think that's better than you thought it was, wasn't it? That is better than you thought. That's pretty nice. More in telly, don't worry, there's more. What about this? Armour Battle. And this one, it just brings my attention to the sort of artwork. Now, all Intellivision games have this kind of like watercolour art, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, now you would just do that on a Photoshop app. A Photoshop widget, you would just say, oh, okay, make this like comic book style or something. But back then, they basically took photos, sort of kind of imagery, and then turned it into watercolour paintings. And it just gives every game its own kind of feel. And they love these like circle out montage kind of looks with like lots of things happening. I think the style of Intellivision boxes is pretty damn amazing. And that makes me very sad, I realise. There we've got the cartridge, and we've got our two overlays. Television loves overlays, and just check out the graphics on Armour Battle. You've got to admit that is better than Combat on the VCS, isn't it? A lot better. Now what about this? Now this was a real family favourite. Horse racing. Now I was talking about killer apps, but probably the horse racing games on those early machines from the 70s and 80s were quite key contributors to the success of. Most of them have got it. Videopac's got a horse racing game, Atari's got horse racing, Television's got horse racing. It's because nobody knew then that consoles and gaming was for young people. So they were aiming consoles in TV hire shops, as we've discussed before, and you know, curries and stuff, but at the man in the street, and like, they think, no, this is an adult entertainment thing. And so your dad would bring home a games console rather than the young lad saying, I want a PS5 for Christmas. It'd be the dad decided to splurge his bonus or his wages on a home console, and then bring it home and take over the TV with it. Which is kind of strange, isn't it, to think that it was the grown-ups buying the games and not the kids. The kids are just like trying to get a look in. Well, horse racing, it's one of those games that brought the family around the TV. It's a betting game, it's a lot of fun. It's turning a games console or the TV into a social event. I mean, it's carried on. I mean, games like Buzz and stuff like that, you know, we still like to crowd around the TV and play games with our families. But these early horse racing games, they really, I think, word of mouth. Oh, have you played Jeff's new horse racing game he's got for the TV? And so they say that, and then everyone will be like, oh, where did you get that from? And you know, there was a buzz. I mean, it's very simple. Let's just check out horse racing. My God, it feels like you're actually there, doesn't it? Oh my goodness! And here they go. They're off. They're off. I mean, obviously my commentary is going to make this a lot more exciting. It took me a while to realise there is jockeys on there. There is a slight outline of the jockeys. Only 4 horses in the race. The lollipop trees. A little ting as you go past each distance marker. No curves to worry about. No exciting curves or steering. Just, oh, come on you, Green. Come on, Green. Move it. Move it. So as you can see, it's a very simple concept, very simple betting game, but family fun. And there's magic in that. There's magic in these old titles that, you know, I mean, people have got memories where they played in television horse racing with all the family and Nan's involved and everyone's watching it, and it's an exciting thing and it's lodged in their memory forever. It's like a little window to the past, and I love it. I love it. Move on, Jace. Okay, well, after the Intellivision, the big rival to the Atari was the ColecoVision, and this week we've got some ColecoVision games. I'm going to get them all out and I'm going to show them all in a row, and then I'll talk about them as we go. Okay, so the games I picked out are Looping, this is by Venture, Space Fury, Victory by Exidy, Victory, that's quite a rarer one, that's a bit rarer, and the classic Sega coin-op Zaxxon. All came in this week. No, they all came in this week. More came in there. We had more Coleco stuff, but let's show you all 4 of those games in a row. So first up is Looping. Now this is a strange game. They're all space games. They're all space shooter games. All 4 of the ones I've picked because that's the kind of guy I am. But this one is strange. You're in a kind of confined area. It looks a little bit scrambly. But as you can see, your little vehicle, your plane, it loops around. That's how you get around the screens. So a lot of the time you're travelling upside down like this. You're trying to take out the balloons. Nobody likes hot air balloon day trippers. Strange. Yes, a bit of a proper intro. This is Space Fury, and yeah, I know what you're thinking. This is like Asteroids. Yeah, but it had that great music at the beginning. It was fun. Is that Zarathustra's Zarathustra? Anyway, after each level, it's simple. You choose which weapon you want, drive into the weapon, and then the next level you get that. It's quite advanced, isn't it? It's quite advanced for an early shooter. And now you can see we've got like 2-way fire, and we're coming out the sides and the end. You can move about. Let me just turn around and I'll jet out. There we go. Yeah, I mean, it's simple. Yeah. Get ready, cadet. Now this is Victory, and I don't really understand this game. It looks a bit like Defender by the way the screen moves around. Yeah. You go and find the bad guys. I think they must grab the things. They must grab the bases. Like you've got these things down here. You've got these sort of bases and rockets. A bit like Scramble and Defender mixed up. Then when you go and find the spaceships, let's see if we can find the enemy. Yeah. I mean, what are they? The shoes? I've eliminated them. Eliminated the shoes. And here we go. Here is Zaxxon. I think we covered this in a couple of shows ago, didn't we, on the arcade version? But it is a classic. It's a classic game, pushed into that isometric perspective. It's a Sega classic coin-op. And it is good on the Coleco. You're thinking, well, it's all right. Yeah, but it is good. It's a very solid Coleco release. And if you're thinking, I'm not sure the Coleco was that much better than the Atari, this is Zaxxon on the Atari. Yes, this is the same game. It's the same game. It's hard to believe, isn't it? Yeah. What can you say? It's very odd. It's nothing like proper Zaxxon. It's a pile of crud. And there they are. That is Looping, Space Fury, Victory, and Zaxxon. Classic cartridges for the classic ColecoVision console. What's next in the box, Jace? Well, we've got a couple of games for one of my other favourite consoles, and that is for the Sega Master System. Sega! Yes, Sega in the house. Pro wrestling. Now, the reason you're thinking pro wrestling, what's that look like, Jace? Okay, it's a pretty feeble-ish, early 80s wrestling game, but just look at the condition of this. It is a gorgeous. Let's open it up. Look at that manual. I have to bring stuff when it's this pristine and beautiful on the show. looks like it's barely played. Just incredible condition. So, hot on the site this week. It is listed as mint because I think that is gorgeous, isn't it? That's just a bit of it's a bit of fluff off the box. It's absolutely gorgeous. Pro Wrestling, and this one, yeah, it's another amazing game. We talked about this a bit lately. Let's check out Choplifter on the Sega Master System. Yes, now what a classic game. It's a classic game, maybe not the best version of Choplifter, Broderbund, but again in fabulous condition. Look at that manual. That's a strange version. There we've got the lovely cartridge, beautiful condition, just brilliant. It might, you know, Choplifter is just one of my all-time favourite games, so if there's an excuse to bring it on the show, and this box was good enough, I'm bringing it on. Get over yourselves. I can put on what I like. What's in the box? There's nothing in the box. We are there. We have done another show. I'll be back next week with more stuff. You know I will. Until then, retro gamers, have a good week.
Retrogames says thank you for watching. Retrogames says thank you for watching.
Look at the manual. Don't look at the manual. See if I care.